Good afternoon. Today we're here to commemorate International Peace Day, and to do that we've got a planting of a peace tree, a ginkgo tree, happening here at the Octopus at the intersection of Route 6 and South 6th Street in New Bedford, Mass. And to commemorate this planting, we've got some speakers with us today, and we're going to begin with Mayor Jon Mitchell.
Thanks, Mary. Mary, you didn't tell everybody at home who you are. It's just Mary Raposa, who's the Director of Parks and Recreation. Come on now. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Let's have a hand for Mary, all right? All right, this is all unscripted television right now. Today we're announcing two different important things. One is a citywide initiative that I'll describe in a moment, whose name is MB Beautiful. More details to follow. And secondly, we're also here to commemorate International Peace Day. And MB Beautiful is responsible for the planting that you'll hear about in a second. So we had the idea many months ago to come up with a group of people, a group of volunteers to help make the city look a little bit better. We've spent a lot of time and effort during my administration in making the city just look a little bit nicer. We've expanded our trash pickup efforts. Our neighborhood task force is engaged in really cleaning up the neighborhoods through code enforcement. We have spent an inordinate amount of time creating nice and money, creating great public spaces like Custom House Square, much of the work on Route 18, and many more things to come, both in the north end and the south end and all over the city. And the reason why we're doing this is that it is vitally important for the life of our city, for the health of our city, that we have public spaces that we can all take pride in, where people can come to New Bedford and say, you know what, I just love being in this place, whether it's on our cobblestone streets, whether it's in Fort Tabor, whether it's along Riverside Park in the north end. We as a city are stronger and more vibrant as a community if people can say, I like being here. Because what that does is it makes people want to live here, it makes people want to visit here, it makes businesses want to invest here. And these are all things that we want to encourage. So but the trick is that the government can't do it alone. As much as we try to use taxpayer, and we do use taxpayer money to make these things happen, it has to be embraced by the community. It has to be embraced by the community in a way that amplifies government efforts and partners with government efforts. And it could be just the little things, with people picking up in front of their houses, or taking care of street trees, or just picking up litter as they walk along the street. All those things matter a lot. We also thought that it would make a lot of sense to have a group to spearhead these efforts, to really upgrade the look of some key places in our city, and also just spread the word about beautification. So that was the genesis of what became a group called MB Beautiful, and we're using today's occasion to kick off MB Beautiful. They've been at work for several months now and have done a number of projects, including along the waterfront and in the downtown. You've seen things like hanging plants this summer in the downtown, as well as the cleanup of Tonneson and Coast Guard Park on the waterfront, and a number of other things. They are well underway at this point, working on tree planting programs, working on beautifying gateways like this one into the city, because the gateways are really first impressions of the city. We want to make sure they look good. And it's spearheaded by Mary Raposa and so many of the folks you see here today. You'll be hearing from Catherine Duff. The big part of it is public art, and I think Catherine will address that part of it, because we want to make sure that as part of upgrading the look of the place, that art, public art, highly executed public art is a big part of that. So these are all critically important efforts, and we wanted to use today's occasion here, International Peace Day, to plant a ginkgo tree in honor of the tree, the one tree that survived the atomic blast in Hiroshima in August of 1945. We have a ginkgo here. We have a lot of ginkgos in the city, but this is a special one because it's honoring, it will honor this this special event, and I want to thank Marvin Hippolyte as well as Dan Keith, and you'll hear from them as well in a moment for their efforts here today in making this happen. But this is all a good thing, and the beautification committee is hard at work. They're all behind me. Most of them are behind me, but there are more. I want to say this. If you are interested in volunteering, if you are interested in pitching in, please do so. There are plenty of ways to help out to make our city look better. It's really important, and we want people who come to our city and say, wow, New Bedford really is a sharp place, because that will produce benefits that are hard to quantify, but we all are aware of. Benefits that will raise the stature of our city and make people feel like recognize that it is in fact a great place. So, with all that, Mary, I just want to say thanks. We have some proclamations that we're going to give out in a second after we talk about the ginkgo tree. But next, I think I want to ask Catherine to say a few words about some of the public art aspects of NB Beautiful. Catherine?
Thank you. Like Mayor Mitchell said, my name is Catherine Duff, and I'm an architect here in New Bedford, and I was delighted to join the NB Beautiful effort in the city. I thought it was a terrific initiative, a public-private initiative, because as an architect, we often think of municipalities as figure ground studies, and what I loved about the mayor's initiative is that instead of the figure, which are the buildings, he looked at the ground, basically all of the space in between. So NB Beautiful really tends to the space in between, and it is critically important because it's public spaces that enable us to come together and create really sustainable places for our city to congregate and welcome people. And public art is a big part of that initiative, as is the connecting the green spaces and messaging the NB Beautiful initiative. And we really look forward to creating some opportunities for the great artists that have emerged from our universities, from the Center for Visual and Performing Arts and from UMass Dartmouth, that have really built this wonderful community of creativity and artists, our deep, rich culture. And we look to create opportunities where we can display that in the form of public art, both sculpture and two-dimensional paintings. And this is all part of the NB Beautiful plan. And this happens, as I said, at the spaces in between, in all of the ground throughout the city. And we really look forward to it. And like I said, I'm delighted to be a part of the committee, and I'm delighted to be able to bring my skills as an architect to the committee. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Catherine. I have one more thing.
Sure.
Since we're passing the mic today. Again, this is all very unscripted. But one of the things that's it's important for people to know, and at the risk of sounding somewhat redundant, it is so important that this be citizen initiated. We in government can't do it all, nor should we try to do it all. We certainly don't have a monopoly on ideas, and public art, public cleaning up, public beautification works best when it's public initiated, when citizens step up and just look to government for support, but not to lead the way. Henry Bousquet, Ward 3 councilor, is here. I know Henry's going to speak in a second. I know Henry and his colleagues on the council feel the same way, that the more that we as a city can encourage citizens to step up and initiate action rather than waiting for government to initiate, the better off we'll be as a community. And you guys set a great example, so I want to thank all of you for stepping up. Go ahead, take it away, Mary.
Thank you, Mayor Mitchell. Next, I'd like to introduce Daniel Keith and Marvin Hippolyte. They're the two young men from UMass Dartmouth who initiated the planting of the peace tree, the ginkgo tree, here in New Bedford. And I'd like to give them an opportunity to speak, to give you some insight into their proposal.
Okay, thank you very much. Essentially, after the bombing in Boston, we wanted to do something, locally in the community at UMass, but also in the surrounding communities that kind of symbolized our sense of how can you put it, care of essentially we care about what happened. We were devastated when we found out about the bombing, and then when we found out about the unfortunate connection the bomber had of our university, we were just very, you can say, saddened of the circumstances. And we really wanted to show that UMass cares, and that the UMass students do care about our local community and do care about, peace, essentially. So we wanted to plant peace trees not only on UMass but in the surrounding community, and that essentially summarizes a lot of our reasoning behind what we did. Do you have anything to add, Marvin?
Pretty much everything that Dan said, really. I've only been in this area about 4 years, and everyone here has been very unified, very welcoming, very open community. And from some of the stuff that you've heard in the media, you wouldn't be able to tell that. And I think when Dan came back, and I was on campus when everything happened, we felt the same way, and so decided to get involved and kind of do something to help uplift not only UMass Dartmouth but the community. So it was very good.
That's about it.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
So let me say, so we have Henry Bousquet, come on up. So we have proclamations for you guys. I won't read them, and I'll also turn it over to Henry to say a few words about the beautification committee and about your efforts. But I just want to say, nice going, guys. Thanks for taking a leadership role and making things happen. I appreciate it. Henry?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Mayor Mitchell. I do have a resolution here I'd like to read that we issued at the last City Council meeting, but I would like to say a few words about this initiative, NB Beautiful. Learning about it is a very interesting thing. I'm glad that it's happening, and it's absolutely the kind of thing that we here in New Bedford are pushing for. More community involvement, more involvement from the citizens. Certainly, we've had Operation Clean Sweep for the last, I think, 7 or 8 years, and they've been doing a wonderful job getting people together and caring about their neighborhoods. Lynn, I see, is on the committee, the committee for NB Beautiful, and I think that's great, and it's awesome that everybody here is getting together to do this. So I encourage everybody, like Mayor Mitchell did, to get out there and get involved with this organization or Operation Clean Sweep, or any one of the community organizations in New Bedford, and try to give back a little bit. I want to read this if I could. You want to go first?
You read
or,
it.
yeah?
I'll hand mine out when you do. You go ahead and read yours.
Okay, great. Thank you. So this was issued September 12th in City Council. It's a resolution honoring Peace Day. Today's International Peace Day. Whereas the International Day of Peace was established on November 30th, 1981 by the United Nations to coincide with the opening day of the General Assembly. And whereas on the 20th anniversary of International Peace Day in 2001, a UN resolution officially established September 21 as the permanent date for the International Day of Peace. And whereas since its inception, Peace Day has grown to include millions of people in all parts of the world, including 1,700 organizations and 175 nations, and each year events are organized to celebrate this day. And whereas, in keeping with the spirit of justice and nonviolence, students from UMass Dartmouth are involved with a regional and worldwide effort to celebrate Peace Day as an expression of their dedication to a better world through cooperation and unity. And whereas on Sunday, October 23rd, 1955, a group of school children planted a ginkgo tree like this one at the corner of Kempton and Rockdale Avenue in New Bedford to celebrate World Order Sunday and the 10th anniversary of the founding of the United Nations. And whereas the ginkgo tree, which became known as a tree which marks sacred ground, was the only flora to survive the nuclear blast in Hiroshima, and since that time has been known as the Peace Tree, so named by the United Nations. And whereas, 58 years later, on Saturday, September 21st, 2013, they have inspired UMass Dartmouth students, Daniel Keith and Marvin Hippolyte, to follow in their footsteps by planting 2 more United Nations peace trees. And whereas, with the assistance of the NB Beautiful Committee, on Saturday, September 21st, 2013, UMass Dartmouth students Dan Keith and Marvin Hippolyte will plant 2 peace trees, one located in the city of New Bedford in the area of Route 6 and Purchase Street, commonly referred to as the Octopus, and another on the grounds of UMass Dartmouth campus, dedicated by the students of UMass Dartmouth in honor of the victims and first responders of the Boston Marathon bombing. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City of New Bedford City Council thanks UMass Dartmouth students Dan Keith and Marvin Hippolyte for their ceremonies in the celebration of the 32nd annual anniversary of Peace Day, with wishes to make it a priority for everyone to promote peace each and every day and support their celebration, affirming a belief in the goal of world peace, offered by Councilor Brian Gomes, our City Council President Bruce Duarte, myself, Henry Bousquet, Ward 3 City Councilor, and the rest of the City Council. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks,
And
guys.
thank you, Mayor Mitchell.
Thanks, guys. And we have proclamations signed by me. I won't read them, guys, but they are in recognition of all of your efforts. Nice job. And now we have another ceremonial dirt throwing, right?
That's right.
All right, with the fancy shovels. All right. All right, shall we?
I got good sea legs from a year of trying to find my footing, and I'm missing my home even more than I should. You're as nice an idea as the ocean is blue, especially if you were true. So much destruction in your wake, I woke and watched you dreaming. So there are no mistakes and only variations on a theme. And you can hide a child in the body of a man, and you can take more than you think you can. Forget all the lessons we learned, you should have been good to me. Forget all the lessons we learned, you should have been true. Forget all the lessons we learned, the lessons we learned. You could have been good to me.
Music is Addie's life. She and artists like her deserve a chance to make a living from it. When you download music illegally, you're stealing from musicians, songwriters, and people like Addie who are denied payment for work that is rightfully theirs. Do what's right. Don't download illegal copies of music, movies, or software. Get it legally. Illegal downloads are not victimless crimes. You have the power to stop them.